The most powerful under-eye treatment in your grandmother's house wasn't in a jar. It was the hat on her head. That sounds too simple. Especially now, when eye creams come with peptides, caffeine, retinol, and price tags high enough to make you blink twice. But look closely at old family photographs from the 1950s and 1960s. Sunday services, neighborhood block parties, weddings, backyard cookouts. Black women are wearing wide-brimmed hats, carrying parasols, wrapping their hair in satin, and treating their faces with a kind of careful patience that modern beauty routines often skip. They weren't chasing perfection. They were protecting what they had. And that distinction explains why so many of those routines still make sense today. The cold spoon, the cucumber slice, the tea bag, the shea butter, the gentle touch, they could temporarily calm swelling or soften dryness. But the habit that quietly did the most over decades was avoiding repeated damage in the first place. So let's follow the old routine from morning to bedtime and see why the most valuable beauty secret was never a miracle ingredient. It was consistency. Start with the morning. Before anyone reached for a department store serum, there was often a simple check in the mirror. Were the eyes puffy from a short night? Was the skin dry from winter air? Had yesterday's makeup been removed completely? The answer determined what happened next. For puffiness, some women used 2 metal teaspoons cooled in the icebox overnight. The rounded backs went under the eyes for a few seconds at a time, never pressed hard against the skin. Cold can temporarily narrow surface blood vessels and reduce the appearance of swelling, which is why the face may look more awake afterward. It was cheap, fast, and already in the kitchen. A chilled washcloth worked too. So did cucumber slices, especially in homes with gardens or a vegetable drawer full of produce. The cucumber wasn't a secret anti-aging weapon. It was mostly cool, watery, and soothing, and the 10 quiet minutes with closed eyes may have been just as valuable as the vegetable itself. Because rest changes the face. A woman who had worked all week, cared for children, cooked, cleaned, and stretched every dollar might not have had a private spa room. She had a sofa, a cool cloth, and 10 minutes before church. That pause helped her body settle. And tiredness shows around the eyes quickly. For dark-looking circles, old routines often turn to whatever was already being brewed. After a pot of black tea, cooled tea bags could be placed over closed eyes for a short time. Black tea contains caffeine and tannins, and cold compresses can temporarily reduce puffiness. But the effect is modest and temporary. It doesn't erase inherited pigmentation, allergies, thin skin, or the shadows created by the shape of your eye socket. That matters, because not every dark circle is a skincare problem. Sometimes the skin is simply more translucent. Sometimes the darkness is caused by genetics. Sometimes rubbing from eczema or seasonal allergies leaves the area looking deeper in color. A tea bag may feel refreshing, but it cannot solve every cause. The women who used these methods weren't working from laboratory labels. They were using practical tools, watching what helped, and passing down what seemed worth repeating. Then came the part the beauty industry often ignored: protection. For much of the 20th century, mainstream cosmetics companies made products with lighter skin in mind and treated Black women as an afterthought. Black women built their own systems through beauty salons, family advice, church communities, magazines, and businesses created specifically for them. Madame C.J. Walker's success was not built on a single magical formula. It grew from education, distribution, and the idea that Black women deserved products and knowledge designed for their lives. That principle carried forward. A beauty routine wasn't only about changing your appearance. It was about caring for yourself in a market that frequently failed to see you. And protection was especially important. Melanin offers natural defense against ultraviolet radiation, but it does not make skin immune to sun damage. That includes the delicate skin around the eyes. Years of sunlight can contribute to fine lines, uneven tone, and collagen breakdown. In darker skin, visible sun damage may appear less like an obvious burn and more like persistent discoloration or a gradual change in texture. This is where the Sunday hat becomes more than a fashion statement. A broad brim creates physical shade over the forehead, cheeks, and eye area. It reduces the amount of direct sunlight reaching the face. Add sunglasses with proper ultraviolet protection, and you're also less likely to squint, which means fewer hours spent repeatedly folding the skin around the eyes. The hat didn't need a label promising anti-aging. It performed the job every time she stepped outside. That is the surprising lesson hiding inside all those old photographs. The women weren't necessarily preserving their skin with rare ingredients. They were reducing exposure, avoiding friction, keeping the area moisturized, and repeating the same gentle habits for years. A hat can outperform an expensive cream if the real problem is daily sun exposure. Of course, a hat is not a replacement for sunscreen. It leaves parts of the face uncovered, and ultraviolet rays can reach you even on cloudy days or while you're near windows. A broad-spectrum sunscreen with sun protection factor 30 or higher can add another layer of defense. If your skin is prone to a white cast, tinted mineral formulas, or modern lightweight chemical formulas, may be more comfortable than the products available decades ago. The point is not to copy every old habit exactly. It's to understand the logic behind them. Protect first, then moisturize. Touch gently. Use cooling treatments for temporary comfort. Not impossible promises. That logic shows up again in night routine. After a long day, makeup had to come off without scrubbing. Olive oil from the kitchen was sometimes used to loosen face powder or eye makeup, because oil dissolves many makeup ingredients more gently than soap and rough rubbing. But kitchen oil isn't automatically ideal for everyone, and it can blur vision or irritate the eyes if it gets inside them. The important part was the motion. A soft cloth, minimal pressure, no dragging the eyelid back and forth, no attacking a stubborn line of mascara as if the skin were a countertop. The skin around your eyes is thin and easy to irritate. Repeated rubbing can worsen inflammation, especially if you already deal with allergies or dry skin. A modern fragrance-free cleanser or dedicated makeup remover may be safer and more predictable. But the old ring finger rule still holds up beautifully. Use the lightest touch you can. The ring finger was considered the weakest finger, so grandmothers taught their daughters to apply cream or oil with it. The biology is less important than the behavior. If choosing that finger reminds you to stop pulling, stop rubbing, and stop rushing, then the rule has done its job. Move from the inner corner outward. Pat instead of smear. If something stings, rinse it off. The under eye area does not need to feel hot, tight, or tingly to prove that a product is working. That burning sensation is not a beauty achievement. For moisture, shea butter was treasured in many Black households, especially among families with West African connections. It is rich, heavy, and useful for sealing moisture into dry skin. A tiny amount pressed along the orbital bone could help the area feel softer, particularly in cold weather. Cocoa butter served a similar purpose. It was inexpensive, familiar, and widely available in sticks and tubs. These ingredients don't rebuild lost collagen or remove deep hollows, but they can reduce the dry, crepey look that makes fine lines more noticeable. That distinction is worth keeping. Moisturizer changes how skin looks and feels. It does not stop time, and it does not transform the structure of the face overnight. Castor oil also appeared in many home beauty routines. A small amount could make brows and lashes look darker or more defined, and its thick texture helped reduce the feeling of dryness. But it can irritate sensitive skin, cause eyelid swelling, or create problems if it migrates into the eye. More is not better. Near the eyes, one drop is already a lot. The same caution applies to raw potato, egg white, lemon juice, baking soda, and other kitchen treatments often repeated as old-fashioned beauty secrets. A raw potato slice may feel cool. Egg white can create a temporary tightening sensation as it dries. But a tightening feeling is not the same as lasting skin repair, and homemade mixtures can carry bacteria or trigger irritation. Lemon juice is especially risky because its acids can irritate skin and make it more sensitive to sunlight. Baking soda can disrupt the skin barrier. Necessity created many inventive routines, but necessity is not the same as proof. The safest part of the old tradition was usually the gentle behavior surrounding the ingredient. Cool compresses, short treatments, clean hands, soft fabric, and knowing when to stop. Even satin had a practical purpose beyond looking glamorous. Satin and silk scarves were worn to protect pressed hair, curls, braids, and edges while sleeping. Their smooth surface creates less friction than rough cotton, so they may also reduce the rubbing and pulling that can irritate facial skin. More importantly, many women learned to keep their faces from being crushed into a pillow all night. Sleep position can leave temporary lines. Over many years, repeated mechanical pressure may contribute to permanent creasing, especially where the skin is thin. You don't need to force yourself to sleep on your back if that makes your neck hurt. But a smooth pillowcase and a comfortable position can reduce unnecessary friction. And then there is the ritual itself. A night routine creates a boundary between work and rest. Wash the face, remove the makeup, apply a little moisturizer, tie the scarf, turn down the radio, sleep. That sequence is powerful because it is repeatable. You don't need 12 products to build a habit that protects your skin. You need a few steps you can actually perform when you're tired. The beauty industry often sells transformation because transformation is easier to market than prevention. A bottle promises to fix what years of neglect have already changed. Protection is quieter. It gives you no dramatic before and after image. It simply prevents tomorrow's damage from stacking on top of today's. That's why the hat matters so much. It represents the habit modern skincare often buries under products. Shield the skin from the source of damage whenever you can. Wear sunglasses that block ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B rays. Use sunscreen on exposed skin, including carefully around the eyes without putting it directly into them. Reapply when you're outdoors for long periods. Seek shade when the sun is strongest. Don't rely on darker skin as your only defense. Then keep the rest simple. Cool something for puffiness. Moisturize dryness. Treat allergies instead of rubbing itchy eyes. Remove makeup gently. Keep hands clean. Test new products on a small area first. Give every treatment enough time to prove itself, and be suspicious of anything promising permanent results in 10 minutes. Your grandmother may have called it common sense. Modern skincare gives it more complicated names: barrier support, photoprotection, friction reduction, and consistent maintenance. But the principle is the same. The women in those photographs didn't preserve their faces because they discovered a secret cream the rest of us somehow missed. They combined small acts of care with years of repetition, and they protected their skin before trying to correct it. The best beauty secret was never hidden in the kitchen. It was hiding in plain sight, casting a shadow across her face on Sunday morning.